We are so honored that you're here with us for Season 3.
We want to share, connect, and grow the paper flower community with you. Welcome to Paper Talk. Thank you for listening to this episode of Paper Talk. Today's episode is sponsored by our patron, Elaine Lim. We appreciate your donation, and we're excited to keep creating content for the paper flower community. If you're interested in supporting us, head on over to Patreon page at www.patreon.com/papertalk and sign up as a patron. We would love to see you there.
Welcome, everybody. In today's episode of Paper Talk, we have Michelle and Bob with us of Rose Mille. Hi, Michelle and Bob.
Hi, Michelle and Bob.
We're so excited to talk to you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We are such a big fan of your paper.
Huge.
Some of us live and die using it. We love the colors. We just love, as I was telling you before, it's what I started with. It was what was accessible to me at the time, which was a couple years ago in Toronto. The fine crepe paper was what I really started with. And then I went on to the double-sided, we call it double-sided.
Yes.
Double-sided crepe paper was what I used after the fine crepe paper. And I really haven't looked back. I mean, I've used some Italian, but I have to say my heart is in the German crepe paper camp all the way. It just has a softness and fluidly, and the colors they're just amazing. And I know Quinn equally adores your paper.
Oh my gosh, I love it. It's just the best medium. I think a lot of the listeners, they know it as, the company is Viola, which is located in Germany. It's also known as Gloria paper. It's also known as doublette, double-sided. What other name does it go under, Michelle? Is that everything?
You've covered it. We call it double-sided.
You said it's,
Whirl by Whirl is the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They doublette, which sounds French, but who knows? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Gloria. But that's what we call it.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. The label itself is so vintage. It's just a woman head on the paper.
Right.
Oh,
that's your branding, right?
that's not ours.
No, that's
No, it's Viola's. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't get it like that.
No, you don't.
Right? I
was thinking, what's the branding? Yes. Well, if you order a 10-pack, you will get their label on it. So we're working on something where maybe it'll come in a 2-pack from them with our label on it. But maybe we'll keep that little head on there. I think it's really cute.
That's so wonderful to hear.
Yeah. And I can't wait. I'm busting at the seams to tell you right now that we are bringing in the fine.
Yay!
So that you will be able to get the German fine, like Denison. We're not that much of paper flower crafters, but because I know if I started, and you've heard me say this a million times, if I started, you wouldn't ever see me again, because I would fall down that Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole and never get out. So, but we are bringing in the fine crepe that we've been wanting to for years. We've carried the doublette. That was our first. We've carried it since 2011, and it's like 10 years. And then just like last year or a year ago, it was a year and a half ago when we brought in the heavier florist crepe. And then we've been relying on the Denison, and I've listened to a lot of the designers out there tell me that please bring in the German fine, and I'm like, well, isn't it the same as the Denison? And they're like, no. So it's going to be more expensive than the Denison, because Denison is made right here, and the shipping is minuscule compared to having it shipped in from Germany, but it's on it. It'll take a while, but they make it to order, and it'll be here before the spring. So
wonderful.
That's
in the spring.
To give a little background to our listener who's listening, Denison is actually made by an American company called Denison, and how do I describe it? It is a heavier crepe than extra fine, but it's more than a premium tissue crepe paper that you would find like at Paper Mart. The colors are more saturated. How many colors do they just come in so many
31.
colors.
31.
Yeah, 31 colors, which is really nice, but it doesn't stretch like crepe paper. And I think that's the reason why us paper florists love the extra fine, because there's a delicacy to it, but still you have those little pleats that you can create those really wonderful petals.
Yeah, that's so good to know. And we've totally appreciate any feedback and what you're looking for. And we get them brought in by the pallet, and there's quite a bit of quantity that we need to get. So
we're starting with
only 7 colors, but then the next pallets will add a few more colors until hopefully we can carry all the colors available. There's some really pretty.
Oh, can we ask what color you're bringing in? Can you say?
Yes. In fact, I'm going to bring up the color chart here. So I might have to put down my get it.
I mean, we can verbalize it. I mean, we're bringing in a white.
Oh,
and a green similar to
like an olive green.
Yeah. And there'll be a yellow, strawberry.
And a pretty purple.
Yeah. And like a lilac kind of color.
Yeah.
And then
a peachy pink.
Peachy pink.
A peachy pink and a pink pink.
Oh, perfect. So, that's a great way to start.
You know, we know what
7 colors
we by far the white is the most popular, but because it's so versatile and you can dye it, you can do all those things to it. Mm-hmm. And then the leaf moss doublette is like your go-to.
Yes.
So, and the other 2 or 3 greens that are doublette, they're okay. You know, they're bright. I mean, but they're just not like natural looking, but they're good for a lot of things. So we just thought, let's get a green, let's get a white, let's get a yellow, pink, reddish, think natural flowers, you know?
Yes.
Because that's what you are going to want to bring in. But there's also, that's like our first layer of flowers. The next layer will be, there's some subtles. There's some really pale purples and some pale pinks that they have that I can't wait to bring in. So, but the first go has got to be a little bit more basics. Mm-hmm. And then my hands are flying here. Sorry. I'm like, don't hit the table.
I really appreciate that when I'm editing.
So yeah, that's, unless you're like, no, bring black. But I don't think black is a big seller. But maybe for centers, I don't know.
Yeah, for centers, because there's the stamens for the anemones, and what other black flowers are there? They always want to tint it like purple, like a dark purple.
Yeah. Honestly, I think there's way too many options of blacks that I don't have to find crepe paper in black from you. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I have like rolls. I still need to use those. But like the lighter colors, I think are a really good idea.
Yeah. It's harder to capture or recreate.
Yeah, you can layer colors.
Yeah, that's true. We'll get the second order ready for the next shipment, which shouldn't be too much time afterwards. It's just kind of a big investment too. But hopefully, we did that with the florist crepe where we brought them in. I think we had 3 different shipments just to get all the colors that we currently have. And it didn't take long. So shouldn't have to wait too long.
That's wonderful.
To get those.
Yay.
Yeah.
People are so curious. And doublette, that is the vanilla cream color. Everybody wants it, but obviously you don't carry it. What's the reasoning behind it?
We used to carry it, and it was a new color. And then there was a couple of new colors, maybe 5 new colors. And we like to carry all the colors. And then it was taken away from us because Lyle Griffith claimed it as their color combination. So they can't sell it to us. So that's the answer. We just, we could go ahead.
Is there a way to make something slightly similar?
I think we could probably do that.
Why not?
But
like a shade different, or not even a shade, maybe. So they're yellow, they're white and cream. Their cream is on the yellow side. Could you do something that is not as warm?
Well,
it's actually a different ink, right?
We had a long conversation with Whirl about what we're talking about now. And basically they were just not too excited about developing a whole brand new color because of there's only one machine that makes it all. And I know they were talking about another machine. Do you remember, Bob?
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember.
I don't know if they started doing that. There's a little bit of language barrier, but they were discouraging us from giving them like new colors to produce. And they're like, well, if you bought this much, and I'm thinking.
We already sort of buy it in volume. And if we want to go to a specific color combination, then we have to buy it in
huge quantities. So, but let me ask you this. What do you think about we can pick any of the current colors that they do and maybe combine them in a different way? That might be the way to go. Or since the white at first, I remember when Heather at the paper place placed her first order with us years ago, she didn't want the white because it was, she was thinking, I don't think the white is going to be that popular. And then lo and behold, it's like the best options because it's versatile. But what if you had and I've actually talked to Tiffany Turner about this, where what if she asked for the same color on both sides, like a cream on both sides, or just so that you get the structure, but you get the fine lines. That the thing about the doublette that's so wonderful is it's fine crepe, but but it's laminated together to give it the strength that you wouldn't get in just the fine by itself. So
could you get the cream on cream? Is that an option?
That's what's in my head that I want to buy.
Yes, I would 100% do it. And also, have you thought about doing a crowdfunding where you do a call out to all the paper florists and says, I need to order X amount. Okay. Do you guys want to pre-order your paper? And you get the funding beforehand. And then you just say, okay, we're getting a huge pallet and we have all these people lined up ready to buy. And it's already been paid for. Let's
talk about this, Bob. And we'll that's a really good idea. I think it's just a matter of, for us, it's just so a little scary because of the volume of it, but I like your idea. I think that might work really well. So, but we're also limited right now in so many ways because we just don't have our staff anymore. Come summer, oh my gosh, anybody in the area, go get a job because we really could use your help. We used to have a couple part-time people and they're not coming in anymore. So, but yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. So what I would love is give me some feedback on color and color combinations that you would like.
Cream on cream, 100%.
Sure. 100%. And I love that. I think I might have one or two shades of that one that you were talking about with the pretty pale peachy pink on cream or whatever that was. There's a couple plus there was the white.
The peach and petal is really popular too.
It is so popular.
The peach and petal and the white with the cream. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And I think they call it vanilla.
Yes, they did. They call it vanilla. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be a great color.
But
the peachy pink on both sides. I think you should think about doing same colors on both sides. If they won't let you think of new colors, double-sided same color would be huge. I think the green, that moss on moss would be a winner. Like I would love to get just that color.
Or green. So Leah has the green tea, and the green tea part.
Yes.
And the other part, separate those and have those. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Such a take all the colors. Oh, and of course, aubergine. I love aubergine.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, but I think Leah has rights on that. So that's why Rose Mille doesn't carry it anymore.
But that's what I mean. No, you just have aubergine.
Aubergine by itself.
Right? Aubergine. And I'll tell you why. Because in my book, I teach this. If you add water to it, the color separates. The color separates, if you're doing one color and the other color, and then you put water in it, it blends together. But the aubergine itself, that specific color, if you add water to it, a blue comes out of it. So then you get an ombre effect of a blue, a really beautiful purple blue with that more dark aubergine wine purple. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful effect, and it's in my book, and people are doing it. So people are using it.
Yes,
so
I love
it'd be really cool, actually, getting like those colors that she has, but just make them in singles.
Yes, you should.
Or one side, the other side.
Yeah.
I would like to see, like, even Jessie, on your backdrop with the flowers, you've got some great, like, tonal colors behind you that are more on the, I don't want to say pastel because people think Easter, but those muted, like the grays and the blues, and that some of the ideas that I was having to get these new colors in I think we could do it. I think what happened in the with the world, and see, when we purchased Martin Meyer Imports, we were able to purchase their vendors. We didn't purchase their vendors. We purchased the ability to continue purchasing from these vendors in Germany. So we carry a lot of different German products. Glass glitter, the Dresden, which is our biggest #1 seller, which is that embossed paper shapes. Mm-hmm. And some paper flower people like those. Mm-hmm. But then I believe that all of a sudden, after years of us, going along with our existing customers that, we inherited, we thought, people started, I think what it was, I was teaching a class in like feather tree, which is using real goose feathers. And I wasn't teaching it, but I was holding the class in the store, and we needed brown crepe paper. And I sent Bob out on a goose chase looking for brown crepe paper that we could cut into strips because they wrap the branches with it. And he comes back and he goes, there isn't anything. And I go, I think we can buy it through Whirla, through one of our distributors from Germany. And so anyway, that just started the whole thing. So then we started carrying it, and it was huge, like right away. And we were the only game in town that that sold it. And then all of a sudden we're like looking in the magazine and I'm like, who's this flying Christmas person? Blah, 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 blah. And so she has an in with Rolla. She's like their poster child. I don't really know, but they use her in their trade shows. And that came like 4 years or so after us. Mm-hmm. But we were still really small, and we weren't coming from that wonderful how-to world and the beautiful flowers and things that she makes with it. And so I think it was just, we just kind of connected and kind of collided, not collided, but there's room, like I always say, there's room for all of us, but she came in with what to do with it and this beautiful thing. So I've just been trying to figure out how to make room for everyone here. But if we can go and provide like people that are going into business or making specific products and being able to sell one sheet at a time, one little roll at a time, then that can be our niche for it. But I don't see Rolla can't take it away from us because we were there first, but we weren't there big enough probably. And we didn't go big full blown. So I think that there's room for everybody. We're not in like some of the big box stores, the brand like that, but really who cares right now? Mm-hmm. It's all online and we ship to a lot of people, more right now, more to the consumer than we do otherwise, because there's not a lot of stores open that are small indie stores like who we usually sell to. So, but anyway, I mean, I know how to think big, but I like it. So put out to you, so everybody that's listening, we want to hear like some color combinations that you don't think is represented. The other thing with the fine crepe, when we get it, it's going to be, the dimensions are going to be the same as say the Denison crepe. It's going to be the long rolls or folds, because I know that sometimes you've seen them cut in half, which makes shipping a lot easier. But sometimes you'll get what we call our make a box. It's like we make our own little tube because it's just so hard to ship. And sometimes, we will cut the Denison in half so that you get 2 10-inch sheets for what? $2.20 if I don't even know what the price is. So it's a really good deal, and nobody's complained that we cut it in half so that it's the same size as the doublette. There's some of those kind of hurdles that we will need to work with. I mean, I don't want to have to cut them all in half, but if we, let me know what you think about all of that, because some people, believe it or not, use the crepe paper for tablecloths. Some people use it for like making costumes
or wrapping a gift, or
wrapping gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to assume what we kind of know what you're doing, but with the flowers and keep it up. Oh my gosh, they're so gorgeous. So
how can they reach out to you? Can they email you? Can they DM you on Instagram? What's the best way for them to say, we want these colors?
Yeah, I would say the best way would be to email, because then I kind of keep a record of it at hello@rosemille.com. Don't forget the E in Rose Mille. We get mail that's Rose and then Mill with no E. And I'm like, there's an E. I don't know why, but if you ask me that question, I'll tell you. Hello@Rose Mille. I know it's old fashioned to email, but
we'll have in the show notes, everybody.
Can I ask you specifically about the spun cotton shapes and sizes? We had a specific question about that from one of our followers, and she wanted to know if you were planning on expanding your collection of spun cotton balls.
What do you think, Bob?
We got into the spun cotton not having anything to do with flower making. Mm-hmm. It was just a crafting product that we sold, so we didn't carry that much. Started with the mushrooms that are colored and have a little stem on them, and then we started bringing in the raw cotton, spun cotton product. And pretty much we carry the balls in like 3 different sizes right now.
10, 20, 30, 25.
There's probably not one. And then we have ones that are like apple shaped, which are pretty close to a ball, which maybe
they're great for snowmen.
Yeah,
because they look squished.
And then we carry eggs, and we have a lemon shape, but I think we're out of those right now. But I guess the question might be no, we weren't really considering bringing in a new shape, but is there a shape that people are looking for that we don't carry? I don't know.
Yeah. No, and that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, yeah, anyone listening, email us or email Michelle and Bob and let them know. Yeah.
I know we used to carry we called it the carrot. And what happens a lot, we've had this happen to like 4 or 5 different suppliers in Germany. They're made literally it's a cottage industry. And this whole town back hundreds of years, they all make like for instance, they're blowing glass ornaments. The whole town, they all are outfitted with their flame and they sit there and everybody makes blown glass ornaments. Think Radco, think things like that. And so we think that there's like towns that do specific things. And I think that there's an industry in a town and I don't know the name of it, but I probably wouldn't tell you anyways, but that do the spun cotton. It's an old way. Like we also carry these spun glass discs and what happened, and the mushrooms, and what happened when the people who are making these, they get old and they pass away, and the kids in the family, they don't want to continue on with the company. So we had a supplier that did all of the spun cotton, the mushrooms and everything. And then that's what happened. So some other company picked them up and we placed an order for the mushrooms are really popular. And we got an order from them and they were so bad that we had to throw them away.
Oh, that's so sad.
They're near the garbage, but I can't bring myself to do it. I mean, that they're just so gloppy and they're just
not the same.
The quality just was so bad. And so the red ones were the most popular and we still have a good quantity of, yay, an order came through. Yay! You'll just have to bleep that out. Or not. I don't know. Was that one of your orders? So then that company, who they passed away and then they were bought up by the other company. And then the new company is an old company, but they did other things. And I feel like they're not going to be around too much longer either. And their quality is so bad. I think they farm it all out and then it comes back. And I mean, it's just so old world that you just wouldn't believe, I think we got in a shipment of spun cotton eggs and they were all moldy.
Oh no.
And they weren't like.
It's like they didn't have a chance to dry properly. They put them in a bag.
Yeah, they were, but I think years ago, and I think this is just old stock from the original company, they don't look very nice and they're not like growing anymore and they're not fuzzy. I mean, if we just painted them, we could turn them into some glitter eggs. But like, so whatever we can get, that's our source. And hopefully they can get it. That's we don't know. I mean, we'll just keep asking. And then like we placed an order with this new crazy company in October, and they couldn't ship until the end of January because of COVID or whatever. And so we have some more coming that are on their way right now from Germany. So there's a lot of weird little challenges that don't really have anything to do with our plans. They just have to do with what can we get,
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I think I was saying is we used to carry these really chunky, they called carrots, and we reordered them and they came in. The original ones were like 3 inches and they were kind of roundy on the ends. And I think that a lot of you use them in maybe a bird of paradise flower or something. I don't know. Then we got them in again and they were like 1/2 inch. And we're like, So now we use them. Now they're on the website. I don't think there's a picture, but we use those for our little snowman carrot noses. Nice. So we mostly have to figure out how to use what we have. So
I love your scrappy way. We're going to make this work.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to send you, pictures of these horrible mushrooms so you can tell me what to do. It would be like
you can cover it with crepe paper.
Cover it with crepe paper. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Maybe. You guys will be able to sell. You and anybody listening, they're like, I think we've got 18 millimeter ones or even bigger. I think there's some 30 millimeter mushrooms that are colored. They're pink. And then the other color is brown.
Yeah.
but they use cornstarch to make them shiny, which is really kind of interesting. We know this for sure because our dog used to eat them. and the wire isn't good for the dog. So, but if I can show you, it looks like resin. So, but it's just dripping off of them. It's terrible.
That is hilarious.
Scrappy. Yeah, we're scrappy.
I love that. I love all the plans that you are helping our community grow better and trying to help us figure out all these different pieces that we can use to recreate them into paper flower form. Because I feel like our industry is very scrappy too, because we think outside the box. We always try to borrow from other industry and other art mediums and other forms to see how we can reuse it in our form. So it's really fun to be able to meet you both and to chat and share your stories. I love it. And I think our listeners will love you guys even more because I know a lot of our people use your product. And so, yes, keep bringing them in.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One thing that didn't come up, but we sell a lot of flower stamens, and a lot of people that buy crepe paper don't buy stamens. So does that mean they're making them from scratch, or is that what the thing is? Or
perhaps they're not using the pipe. Yeah, like the stamen pipe, the pips. What do you call them?
Yeah, pips.
That might be fringing.
They have to be right for the flower. Yeah.
It does have to be right for the flower, and it can get expensive if you're making, a peony. That's a lot of stamen. So that's why sometimes it's just easier to just fringe everything with crepe paper. Some people love fringing too. But with stamens, like a lot of sugar flower artists they only use stamen. So they know that you carry it too, which I've seen you guys carry like a huge variety of them.
Yes.
They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
What we have they are again handmade in those little cottage industry in Germany.
That's crazy. Every one of them.
And we do have a lot of the vintage ones, like probably from the 50s still. The ones that have a thicker stem are being currently made. So, but yeah.
Beautiful. Well, the ones
one
that
of the first things.
Yeah. I think the challenge sometimes is because they come in different colors, preset colors. In order to use them, we have to know specifically what we're going to use them for. Or if we're looking for something, we see them on the website when we buy them. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of get that combination at the same time. But I've seen them. They're colors that you guys carry. They're beautiful. And they're so fine. The vintage ones. So fine. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
The finer ones are the vintage ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't make them like that anymore. Yeah.
They probably don't.
Well, and they were originally made for like a lot of like ribbon flower people that made flowers out of ribbons that, used a lot of the flower stamens, not the big, beautiful crepe paper flowers. Actually, like this. This is my one flower, people.
Oh,
So I figured out a way to make that because it has to come out. So I don't know if you can see. So I put it up on the wire.
Yes.
This is the one that we have the most of in the world. But yeah, it has to be the right flower stamen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For our listeners, so what she did was she made a doublette rose of extra large one. It looks about 10 inches in diameter and in depth. And she actually used one of her stamens that they carry in the center, and she wired it so it actually is coming out a little bit further for such a large flower. So that's what you're missing. So our patrons will be able to see that on our Patreon page.
Yeah. And if you're really a beginner and we have this rose in a big kit. It's our giant rose kit. And in the kit itself, you get one of the flower stamens already attached to wire.
Oh, nice. Did you do that yourself?
Yeah. And I was teaching at this pinners conference a few years ago, and they wanted me to make up 195 kits, and we need to be able to teach something in an hour. And so they kind of drove the car on that one, but I went and got a die cut made so that we didn't have to have everybody cut their own petals. And so I have a die cut, and we made up a whole bunch of kits. And then we ended up with a lot of leftover because they were in charge of bringing in the people, and they probably brought 25% of what they were supposed to. So
yeah, I know. So a lot of kits.
So like 175 left. So whatever, you win some, you lose some,
Yeah. Okay, back up a little bit. I'm so curious about the die cut. So you die cut the doublette. So you have a machine that you just kind of lay the paper down and then you roll it over and it just cuts.
Yep. So I had one, I designed the petals and the whole, gave him a diagram, and then with AccuCut, which is the company that does a lot of custom stuff. They do wonderful things, but yeah. So we were there cutting them, and what our die has, it's pretty cool.
I had to iron it first.
I had to iron it. The paper, because the doublette, you have to iron it, right?
Yeah. I actually see that.
Well, to get it to sit flat on the cutter.
Yeah, the die cut. Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
And we could cut I think 4 or 5 layers. Maybe it's been a couple years, but yeah.
At least 4, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have another one that we did the rose leaf and the calyx for it. And then that's another die. That's what you get in the kit. Like if you get our giant rose kit.
How much is the kit?
I think it's $20.
That's a great deal, you guys.
That's a steal.
And you get and you get all the wire, and you get 6 pieces of wire. And this is old. Sorry, it's falling apart.
It's more than 5 years old, right? Or how old is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
For our patrons, you can see how the color has last. Like doublette paper really doesn't fade as much as the Italian ones, I would say.
Really interesting. Mm-hmm. Except for there are 2 colors. One of them in particular is notorious for fading, and it's the peach and white.
Yes, it does fade.
It's horrible. It's
we keep it in a dark room because of that. I mean, we keep the lights off and it just sits, so we don't know what's.
We keep all the.
It doesn't see any sunlight at all. Except
for when we flash on the light to go and fill an order. Yeah. It's going to get. We can't go around in the dark, but
night goggles.
I got a headlamp and.
I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we learned that by having it in the shop in cellophane. So I don't know why the light colors are like that. So that particular one, and then a little bit of that pretty pink one, I think, but it's a little bit, but not the dark colors. It's interesting.
Yeah, the dark colors are definitely set in.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Okay, now time to our favorite question. When you're working, what do you drink, and do you watch TV or listen to anything while you're working around the shop?
Okay. So when I'm going to assume you mean when I'm sitting and crafting.
You can do that too.
Okay. I will turn on, I have a Pandora station that I created using classical show tunes based on, so I love the movie Chocolat, and that's what it's based on. That's the seed for it. So not only, so I hear all these it's classical, but it's also, I get a lot when you can see where it's from. There's Game of Thrones music comes in. There's Downton Abbey music that comes in, and all of those kind of things. So, and then did you ask me about the drinking too?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I knew that was coming. I drink tea all day long, and I start in the morning with my Earl Grey with cream, and then I use the same loose tea leaves, and I keep adding hot water, and I make my iced tea in this big giant vintage glass. And that's all. And
I should break that.
I'm just telling you what I drink all day long because it's super easy. At night, I drink just the lemon lavender mint tea that, is herbal. Caffeine and me don't get along really well. So, and then Bob can answer his own self.
I drink coffee all day.
Just black or with cream?
Cream and sugar, actually.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And he doesn't really listen to music unless he's driving.
Yeah.
The radio.
Yeah.
And when he's driving, he listens to
classic rock.
Love it.
Really loud classic rock, which I didn't realize until I got in his truck with him. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought you didn't like music. So he just, classic is subjective, I suppose. But I'll listen to, I like a lot of vocals and instrumental stuff too. So anyway.
It's awesome. It's so interesting hearing
really
people
boring.
tell them. No. It's interesting hearing what everyone has their own tastes and preferences, and I don't know, I think it's cool.
I think so too.
Yeah, but no, thank you so much for spending the hour with us.
That was an hour
glad that we had this conversation. Yeah, we're just so glad we had this conversation, and I'm so happy to finally meet you guys because I hear so much about you from Quinn, and and I tell people about your shop all the time. So it's now I've met you guys. I can say I've met them. They're awesome. Go support them.
Yes, definitely.
We're sitting behind the counter in the shop. Because someone should be in here, you know.
Yeah, the camera, bro.
You want to see that? You want me to pan it around?
Sure. Our patrons would love that.
I mean, it's not too bad, but we don't really have a lot of crepe paper out. So you're just going to have to, because it's in our dark room. So, so I'm just a once around.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love it. What a
There's
wonderful
so many
store.
different things.
Right. Well, and remember, this is my 23rd year. So I'm going to go back around because I'm getting caught up in the wires because it's on this really cool tripod. Yeah. So Rose Mille started in 1990.
That's wonderful.
And it was as a place, I'll end on this. As a place for people to, my concept with Rose Mille was to buy it already made from people who make things or learn how to make it and buy all the supplies. And then turns out, and I was going to get, it was all going to work together. So it came pretty close to what I was envisioning, as I was looking for people who could teach and make things, and they're usually not the same person. So just any medium, really, as long as I liked it.
That's the best about owning a store. You can curate what you want.
Right. And this was before the internet. Well, it was right when the internet was invented, and we were actually down the street from eBay. So when in its infancy. So,
yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, your store looks wonderful. It just looks like a really comfortable place for a creative to walk in and look about and buy things because that's what we do, right? We can't help but buy things.
Right.
Shiny objects.
Yeah, in a spot like that, it's wonderful.
We get a lot of people that come from all over the country because we're in this weird little grocery store building in the middle of an old neighborhood. We used to be on Main Street and a big, beautiful storefront, but since we did Rosemeyer, we needed something different, but we ended up turning a little corner of it into the store. And so now we get people from all over that come here specifically on purpose, sometimes with an appointment, which I will do. If you want to come and you're going to be in the neighborhood, please email me. That's the best way because sometimes we don't answer the phone. But and they come in and it's heavy side, And that's the best feeling when they come in and they're like,
and write us a review. We would appreciate it so much. You can also support us as a patron on patreon.com. Your contribution would help us continue to create great content for you and the paper flower community.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome, and thank you for inviting us.
Oh, of course. Of course. I think our listeners are going to be thrilled to be able to hear your voices and know more about you guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us.